Persecution is something that the Jewish people have experienced way too much over the ages. Today's mitzvah, which is the prohibition against desecrating God's name, Chilul Hashem, is in a time of persecution when an oppressor tries to eradicate Torah and mitzvahs, like in the story of Hanukkah with the Greeks. We must give up our lives even for the smallest thing, not to desecrate God's name. Similarly, in a time of, even when it's not a time of persecution, if somebody tries to force us to violate one of the three cardinal sins of idol worship, murder, or forbidden sexual relations, we must give up our lives, even in private setting, not to do one of these sins. Another part of Chilul Hashem is that rebellion, just doing something to show that someone doesn't care about God, not for their own benefit, just to show they don't care. This is Chilul Hashem. And finally, a person of stature, a person of respect, who's expected to act a certain way, they so to speak represent God, and they don't act that way, they are violating God's name. An example is a rabbi in the Talmud who said that if he doesn't pay for his purchase on time, he'll be committing Chilul Hashem. Another one who said if he walks a little distance without his tefillin on, he will be desecrating God's name. Second mitzvah of today, the verse tells us that we should destroy idols and we should not do so to Hashem our God. We are prohibited from erasing, destroying anything with God's name on it, from destroying anything in the temple, any of the furniture in the temple, even a piece of wood which is used for the sacrifices. To destroy it is prohibited, and the same with any book, any Torah, or any book of prophecy. The third mitzvah of today is the mitzvah to listen to our prophets. Prophecy goes back to the beginning of the foundations of Jewish life. It goes back to Moses, and in every generation we have prophets, and we have to listen to our prophets, even if the prophet tells us that we should not do a certain mitzvah or to do a certain prohibition for temporarily in order to sanctify God's name and for another purpose. We have to listen to them as long as they are not suspending the mitzvah or the mitzvahs indefinitely. More on prophecy coming tomorrow.